but it's just that idea. You don't want to take anyone in a band, and you don't want them to feel maybe like they've got a silent button put on them or feel alienated. You want everyone to feel open, and you need to be willing to work with each other off the bat and figure out who's got their strong suits, like you said, who can do what the best, who's capable of actually doing it, what they can pull off, and moving forward from there, and trial and error and communication. It all comes, like you said earlier, those are the main things, especially earlier on in a band. We're at a point now where we wouldn't have to communicate hardly anything. You know what I mean? Like, if as far as like, it's simplicity now, right? It's like certain things don't need to be said. If we're talking about this or that, we know certain people in the band will take care of this, that, and the other thing. Yeah. If it comes down to maybe we're doing a show or there's a gear thing, you know that you probably don't have to worry about gear, and I'll handle everything. You know what I mean? And I'll just be like, this is what we're taking day of, and you're like, cool. I don't have to worry about a cab because Shane already took care of a cab. Yeah. Aaron's kit's taken care of, blah, 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 right? Certain people will have certain roles in the band. If we have something graphic, I don't even bother answering. I just let you answer it, because it's what's the point, you know what I mean? And so everyone should have their role, and everyone should have their voice.
What about artists that don't that don't have a band? What about single artists? Like, should they be building up teams so they have like a band? Do you think that's important?
I think as a solo artist, it's good to have a team around you, to have outside influence and outside perspective. Whether that team is a friend, whether that team is someone that is a maybe hired person outside of the thing, depending on what level you're at. Maybe that person is a teacher. You know what I mean?
Like a mentor.
A mentor.
Yeah.
Any kind of mentor or something like that. I mean, whoever that person is has to have an open mind. I think that's the biggest thing, is you can't really have that person be someone who's extremely opinionated about stuff, and who's, you know what I mean? Because then you get jaded views, you get biased opinions about certain things.
There's a lot of that.
You have to really look at it from a top and look at every aspect, how it might affect certain groups, how certain things might come out and stuff like that. You really have to incorporate a lot of that stuff in for everything you do now, as far as lyrics and content and stuff like that. It's really key to have that, and as diversity as far as sex too. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you've got a multi-person team, if you got 5 people, you damn well better hope one of those persons is a female to give you that different perspective and kind of keep you in check a little bit too. Yeah. Because us guys are not always mindful about it. You know what I mean? I personally like to think I'll keep stuff like that in mind and things like that. But that's something you have to be very mindful of across the board, whether you're trying to make more sales or trying to protect certain things, or you're trying not to offend people or whatever it might be. There's always aspects like that you gotta keep there. So I think a team for a solo artist is very good. Yeah. To an extent, because you have certain creatives that are just so powerful, that have their own vision and their own mind, and an outside influence would do nothing but distract them from what their vision is. Those are, in my opinion, the X factors, those extreme people, you know what I mean, that are just on that next level, that are doing their own thing, following their beaten path, and they would never think to go and bring somebody else in, because why would they do that? They've always done things themselves. They've always been in their nook, creating their content, their being creative.
Yeah, but like, I mean, those people, if they're self-aware enough, they can find out what they need help with, right? So if they're like, oh, hey,
eventually branch out and stuff like that.
I'm
too.
super creative. I need like more of a business sense. They can always bring that kind of stuff in. So I think it's really important to kind of know who's around. And
or I guess even the team to actually facilitate your visuals or your audio stuff, right? Here's what I want to do. Let's go do it. Get me the people to go do that, right? Yeah.
Well, and like even just like studio examples, we've always, anytime we're in a studio, it's always been where the producer will have. That's embarrassing.
It's the first time it's happened. That's not bad.
So there will always be people that they're producing the record, and they're kind of helping you too, right? So you're essentially showing them your song, right? Like you might have had a pre-pro or something, but they're kind of learning your sound and learning your style through each song, and then they always, like, every single record, their producer has made their stamp on like something, and it wasn't just because they mixed it, you know, or they did. It
was somewhere in the editing or somewhere in the
something.
Hey, why don't we try these kind of harmonies instead, or why don't we? Yep. Yeah, I would agree with that.
And I think that was like that's a thing that we totally missed when we just recorded ourselves, right? Like
that outside influence with a different, but that it put our own stamp on it too.
Yeah,
maybe that stamp was just raw,
right? Yeah,
but
you know,
but whatever it might have been, but it in itself it had its own stamp, right?
Yeah,
just a different looking stamp, maybe one that might not have been as clean cut.
Yeah, like it like makes it different, but in a good way, you know.
I like it.
And
also having it done ourselves too, even being someone who didn't help record any of it and stuff like that, and just being able to talk with you and understand different aspects of it. I know that even if you went back and we redid it again, I know certain things that we would fix, not even knowing how to do it, but I know certain things that could be fixed, you know what I mean? Just down the line, because we went through that whole process and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then coming full circle, like we were talking about earlier, having this experience and doing these things gives us a better ear to listen to what other stuff is out there to pick what we would want to do down the road. If we went and listened to something and some guy is charging $100, $150 a track, and it's like we hear that quality and stuff in there, why would we not go record with him? We can do pre-pro here ourselves, bang most of it out, and get it to a point where we can do so much stuff in a short amount of time, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's the other thing too. Yeah. So when it comes down to like, I personally think that you should go with somebody to record your full album, like, and leave it up to a pro to mix and a separate pro to master. Yes. Like do the separation thing. Yes. Don't get the same person, but do as much pre-pro as you possibly can. Learn so much pre-pro. Learn how to use an amp sim and get a half decent guitar tone out of it, because that will inspire you to write other things to it, and like never think it's done, or you know, like
or
get
just
it
get a Boss Katana and don't get an amp sim.
Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, no.
Come
there's
see me at the Arts.
there's tons of options nowadays, and like, I mean, no matter what you're doing, like if you're just singing or you know, record it. Like don't just show up and be like, okay, this is my song, and then play it for them. Like give them pre-pro. Have something.
Have it on paper.
Yeah.
We're at a golden age in music tech right now.
Literally
There's no excuses at all.
You're fucking dead.
Literally
to me
no
if you
excuses.
Think there's an excuse.
You could spend, what is it, $220?
Yeah.
You can get the Scarlett headset.
But why?
The condenser mic.
Yeah.
The interface.
Yeah.
And then you're halfway there.
But dude, you have a phone.
Yeah,
you have a phone.
Just in that same sense, you've got a cell phone that you can record everything in a bass track, even if it's just you sitting in a room recording it.
Yep.
Yep.
You can do the same principle with a phone. So like, this is a little crazy, and it probably won't work as like it won't it won't be as smooth as buying an interface and like actually working in a DAW. But you can just have a metronome play and play to that metronome.
Yep.
And then have the next instrument play, and you play to that metronome. Like, you can still make that happen.
Yeah, you could. I was in like actually downloading a phone interface.
Well,
or just doing it on a sound recorder.
On the sound recorder.
Yeah, you could pull it off.
Putting stuff together, man. Just do it to a whole band.
Yeah.
I just like metronomes are a big thing, just because that is the actual pre-pro of things.
Yeah.
But everybody has pretty much everyone has a laptop and an